Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of color testing, if you will. A while back I had done a silicone mold of a very large, and I do mean very large, skeleton head. If you haven't seen it, I should probably figure out how I could drop it in the links below, or maybe I'll just put a link to it. Anyway, very big skeleton head mold, and it produces obviously a very huge skeleton. I want to make another one of those skeleton heads, or whatever I'm going to call it a head. That's the easiest thing I can do for myself right now and for you to keep it easy. Anyway, I've had some different color ideas running through my head. That piece takes between 12 and 1400 mils of resin. It's a deep pour. I have some deep pour resin left. I want to be able to use it up, and I've been racking my brain going, what am I going to do? I like the idea of doing another skull. However, I want to make sure that when I do that skull that it turns out looking fairly decently. Now, that mold itself has like a crisscross weave on it. So I toss and turn a little bit with, do I put something in it? But I don't think you're really going to see it because of that weave on the outside of it. I had also contemplated trying to put maybe a balloon in the center of it so I didn't use so much resin. But again, I'm challenged by that. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to do one. I'm going to figure out what color I want to do. But again, I don't want to spend 1400 mils of resin to find out I don't really like what I've come up with. My idea to sort of get around that and come up with a new idea was, well, first I have some other skull heads, smaller, much smaller. Again, do I want to use all that kind of resin to do those pieces? And no, I don't. I decided what I was going to do was, I have these flower molds by Let's Resin. We've done these molds before, not all of them, but some of them with mixed mold ceramic resin. And they're very pretty molds. They really, really are. Some of the bigger ones I'm not as fussy on. I like the more intricate ones, but they're still very cool. We're going to use these because I thought to myself, they've got a bit of a texture on them. So this will sort of help me to align it a little bit with the skull in order to see what color I really want to go with. It seemed to make sense to me. It may or may not to anyone else in the world, but that's totally okay. Like I say, I'm not wasting 1400 mils to find out, ooh, that was a bad color combination. What colors am I wanting to use? Well, we'll start with the easiest. I want to do something with glow in the dark. So I thought what I would do is I have a aquamarine blue and a natural green, and it indicates that the green is the longest lasting and brightest glowing color of the glow in the dark pigments. So I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this. I am going to use both these colors. I'm just going to mix them together. Call me crazy. Instead of doing one or the other, I want to do them together. I have all kinds of this stuff, so I figured let's just have some fun. Let's do the two of them together. The other colors that I've been playing with are sort of in my head were sort of traditional Halloween colors. I know, talk about boring. I have these three colors, orange, I was going to say orange, blue, and green, but that would be wrong. I've got a green, an orange, and a yellow. And what we're going to do is I want to see what's that's going with that. Okay. I just got to make sure I get my colors right. What I want to do is put some of the mica powders around on the inside, not completely cover it. I don't want it all these colors. What I want to do is I want to sort of randomly place them in here, sort of to what I think is sufficient. Then what I want to do is, and I might, so I've got this gray, and this is the Eli Chem Resin's Resi Tint Max Granite Gray. So I'm going to mix resin with this color in it, and it's a very pale gray. Let's open this up. It's a very pale gray, but I kind of was going for the thought of if I use something like this, it might make it look a little eerie. because of the coloring. And I also thought what I might do is, and again, very random and probably really, really random on this, is use some of this gray. And this is I'm trying to think if this is the Craftsmart or just a generic gray, but I thought I would use that. Now, I don't think I'm going to mix it in the resin, but I might just do a little bit. But I was going to put some sort of, again, sporadic around with those other three colors. So that was one test I was going to do. Another test I want to do is using a color shift. I have a few of these for my candy. I haven't really used a lot of them. I thought I would do this. Now we're going to do two experiments with this. One, we're going to just use this color in one. I'll put the micas around the side. Am I going to tint it? I don't see. That's where with these, I'm not really sure if I want to tint, but anyway, we'll do, I may come up with color. I have to think about that now a little bit. Maybe I could do that. Anyway, we're going to use this. I haven't thought this one through. Can you tell? So we'll use this as a mica in one, but because I don't know what color I'll do the resin in, I'm also going to do this flower here, but I'm going to use the Alumilite black casting resin. Now, just to give you a little bit of an update on that casting resin, I want to say yes, it cures very fast. I don't feel you'd have 2 minutes to play with that stuff. I would be surprised if I actually had a working time, and it seems to be with those around 30 seconds, because I can feel my cup getting warmer. I'd said don't mix a lot of it at once because you'll run into an issue of it heating up faster and curing faster, which is proving to be a true point with it. It's also setting up really quickly. So that's a little bit of a drawback with it. So definitely if you're going to use that particular brand, you want to be doing small pours with it. So something like this will be fine because that takes about 20 mils, give or take. So we're going to use this and we're going to put it in here. I think I'm going to leave the bottom and just let it be black, but I'm going to get this stuff in as best I can in the flower area. We will use the Alumilite to do that. And then I'm going to have to give some thought as to, like, maybe what I could do with this is in the resin, not only can I, do this around the side, but just mix this color in with the resin as well. And that way we have it from solid with that one. So that's another color we're going to play with, and we'll put that over there. So we have the glow in the dark, we have the yellow, green, and orange, we have the color shift, and the last one, which is sort of the one I'm leaning toward, is using, again, one of the Eli Chem Resi Tint Max Classic Red, which would be mixed into the resin itself. And then I want to sporadically, again, and granted I might put some of this Galactic Ghost Red in with my resin, but I want to use this color, this black, and the Let's Resin Chrome Powder Red, and just randomly place it inside the mold itself. The red will be the resin in that one, just to see. That's sort of I thought that would look, which is nice. I wanted a blood red is really what I was looking for, and I think this will do the trick for what color I'm wanting to use. So I'm going to have to get those mixed up. But what we're going to do first, before I even get to doing the resin part of this, is to get the mica powders in where they need to be. We can set this one up easy enough, and then I'm going to head off. I will be doing each color independently. I don't want to try and make up enough resin to do everything at once. I think I'm going to have to split it down and do it in groupings. And I doubt very much I'm going to take you through all of that, but you will obviously get to see the end result. So why don't we work on a couple of these coloring so I can show you what I'm thinking of as far as that goes, and then I'll finish it off. I will pour this black one again off camera because I know you saw me doing that enough in the last video that I did. And then we will see where we end up at the end of the day. And then I have one piece off to the side here that I've already done with the black Alumilite. And kind of an interesting combination on that one, so you'll get to see that too. And then I've got another one of my cute little tea light pieces, which I didn't have enough of the Alumilite. So maybe by the time I get around to pouring this one, I can take the extra, or I thought what I might do is just put some UV resin on the top of that and call it a day. So let's do this one first. And I've been finding this little brush here, this makeup brush, has been doing an amazing job for me coloring things in. It's been beautiful to work with. I think what I want to do though is I'm going to use a bit bigger one, but from the same family, if you will. I don't know if anyone else, a color shift is kind of an interesting, yeah, color shifts I find very interesting. And it's kind of unfortunate because most of the color shifts I got from Eye Candy, they seem to be in the same family of color, which is, yeah, that's kind of boring, but, you know. Now, it's going to be interesting because this brush here isn't as stiff as what the other one is. So I'm just wondering if I'm going to be able to do as good of a job with this as I might be able to do with the other one. And the mold might have something to do with, I mean, these are really pliable molds, so maybe they need a stiffer brush. So let's go back to that one and see. I've got a, no, well, that one might work too. That's one I got, who did I get that one from? Oh, who knows. You start losing track after a while of where you get things from. I almost wish I had this in a jar. It'd make it easier. Then it'd be less painful for you. So I hope everyone had a fantastic Canada Day and got to do something fun with family, friends, or as I've done before, I just, you know, hang out with myself, and boring sometimes, but nonetheless. And my husband was actually home for the day on Canada Day. Being a trucker, he could have headed back down to the States just because, well, it's not a holiday until, well, for you guys, tomorrow in the States. So... but yeah, this is all I'm going to do with this one. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with you on this one because this is kind of boring, and I'm finding that my color is being a little finicky sticking to this mold, so that's going to make it interesting. So I'm going to put this one off to the side for right now so I don't have to bore you too much with that. It's, like I said, I'm being a little challenged with that one, and it could be because of the mold itself. And we all know that, I mean, for anyone who's worked with resin and mica powders, I mean, it takes a little bit of time depending on what you're doing. So you just have to have patience with it. And this brush I didn't get cleaned out the last time I used it. And I always, if I use a wet wipe for my brushes, then I make sure I go over it with a paper towel just so that I don't take that dampness with me into the mica powders. All right, so let's do this one, this colors. Actually, I'm trying to think, maybe I'd be better off. I think I'll put that one there. The glow in the dark, the glow in the dark. You know what, I'll do the glow in the dark in that one. I have the color shift to do, don't I? Put the color shift over there. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I think because this is a bigger mold, we might use the bigger brush. It might be easier in this. And as I say, I am just random placing this in. And just as another FYI, because I forget to do it sometimes, is once you put your mica powder in, I do recommend that you like turn it upside down and get rid of any excess that might be in it. Actually, I'm putting this right up to the top, but I don't know if I'm going to fill this to the top. That's something I need to maybe keep in mind. How full do I want to make this? Because it's a fairly big flower. Okay, that's probably enough of the yellow. And we'll get to see if we just do the random colors, then maybe what we'll be able to determine is if I like the color combinations is, do I then, you know, do a lot more of the piece or leave it as random as I have. Like sometimes I think random's cool instead of just, you know, filling it all in. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And you got to think too, we're going to have, well, I won't be doing my skull in a video. I may show it after, but I have a lot more space in that to fill up too with the mica powders. And it is a challenge because of the shape and the size of it to get color everywhere. So it's with doing it, the flower just sort of randomly, it will help me to get a better idea. Of, you know, how it's going to look in that mold. So we shall see. So that's sort of what it's looking like right now. I'll put some of the gray in it too. Yeah, I don't want to go too much with the gray. I just figured it might give, again, sort of that eerie look that I'm going for. I mean, if you're going to do a skull that big, to me it doesn't, I mean, we want to make it look eerie. Or I do anyway. Let's get rid of some of that. So I can see when I'm, I think I want some more orange in there. And if I put a little bit, if I can, a little bit of color over another color, it might help too with the eerie feel to it. Make it look, I guess, a little dirty, right? Some more yellow in that. Yeah, I was outside watching traffic go down the road and thinking to myself, how do I want to do this? How do I want my pumpkin, or not my pumpkin, my skull to look? How, you know, how Halloween color-wise do I want it? So we'll see what we end up with. So I think that's good. I don't think I'm going to do any more on that. So that's sort of what we're dealing with right now. Looks a little not muddy-ish, but hopefully that'll be sufficient for that. It's like, even though these are in my bags, I just like to make sure everything's closed up. And these little containers for sure. All right, we'll put that over there. Get some of this out so we don't take it into the next piece. But I just thought, you know, this would be an interesting way of playing with colors without, especially if you've got a really big piece to do. Like, it just seemed to make a heck of a lot more sense to me to do like sort of small pieces versus trying to, you know, is my 1400 mil a really best use with those specific colors. So if you're already doing this, I think it's a really cool idea. If not, and you have a really big piece, well, it's something to consider. All right, so let's do the black first. Now let's do the red first. I mean, these colors are amazing. They truly are beautiful. Trying to keep my hands out of the way for you. I'm not sure how well I'm going to do that, but probably going to end up filling these up, aren't I? Just because that's the best way to get this stuff out of the mold, is by the resin picking it up. Let's do some black. And I'll be curious too to see how well that red may be able to pull itself through, that you'll be able to see it through the red mica powder. Oh, that just went crazy, didn't it? I don't know if you find this sometimes, but mica powders just love to fly through the air with the greatest of ease, eh? Okay, let's get some of that out of there. Black one are a little crazy, eh? So that's what we've got so far. Now let's take a little bit of this galactic, and this stuff does fly. This stuff just goes crazy. It does, it does, it does. Now I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't think I've ever used it this way before. Yeah, these colors, the black and the red, really make me think Halloween. Put a little bit more. I think this is going to work better though in the resin itself. Okay, I don't know if I want to try a little bit more red over here as well. Okay, I think we'll just leave it at that. Again, the idea was so we could see some of that red. I'm getting this stuff all over the place, aren't I? Yeah, it's dumped out some of that galactic ghost red. So, but there's what we've got for that, which I don't know how well you can see that. Okay, I am going to carry on, and I'll bring you back when I'm at the point that I'm going to start pouring at least one of these pieces with resin, and then I'll get the others done up and maybe bring you back. I'm not sure. I mean, watching me pour resin is kind of a little boring, I would think. So let me finish up what I need to here. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to pour at least one of them, and then we will take it from there. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, we are ready to move on. I have done some pouring already, and I am just bringing you back for the last two pieces that we are going to pour. And then we will have some fun when we get to take these out of their molds. I, as usual, have made too much resin, so I kind of backed it off. But if I have some extra left over, well, I have some extra left over, and we carry on with my life, right? You're used to that by now. You really should be. It should not be a surprise if I make too much resin. Okay, so here is our gray, and I did put as I said, I put the tiniest amount of the silver mica powder in here to darken it up a little bit. So we'll get this poured, and I do it slowly. And I had to, one of the resins I made up, I had to put it in my debubbler because I didn't warm it up before I mixed it, and the bubbles were just crazy in it, so I had to haul that out, and that's okay. So I find, yeah, warming the resin up does help. We'll see how far we go with this. I know we're going to get into the second level of this. They do take, I'm amazed at how much resin these molds take. And I'm not really 100% sure why they made them so big. But anyway. And I'm not sure what people would actually use these for. Like I can see making pins out of them and possibly pendants or putting them in another piece. But as I say, I'm surprised they made these so big, because it doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me. But so if you have these and you're doing something unique with them, please comment below. I'd love to know what you're doing with them. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there on that one and find something for the rest of that to go in. So I've probably gone 3/4 of the way up in that. And I could just pour the rest of it right, and then I don't have to go get another mold. Now in this one, you'll notice I've got some black in the bottom of that. That's because I had a little bit left over from my Alumilite, and I just decided to put it in here. So this is the red with some of the eye candy, Galactic Ghost Red. And another reason I'm pouring this so slowly is because of all the grooves in this. And I'd really like to not have any or minimal bubbles show up. So that's why we're being cautious on this. And they're not as detailed as you get further up in the mold. And the one piece, well, I've done the two flowers I did at the beginning when using the Alumilite, they turned out pretty cool. Turned out pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to sharing those with you. And I have a bird over here, so I'm trying to decide which color I'd want to add to it. And I'm not sure. So I think that's as high up on that as I'm going to go on that one too. So we've got all of them done now, so I'll just bring them back into frame for you. So we've got our gray with our normal and everyday Halloween colors. We've got our red with the black. We have, so this one I used in the resin, the color shift. All right. I just mixed it into the resin. And then we have our glow in the dark. And I put quite a bit of the two colors in those. And then I have, get ready for it. So because I made up too much of the glow in the dark, what I ended up doing was I added some of this color to it. And I made a little birdie. So I'll find out if it glows in the dark. And then I don't know if you can see all the way to the back here, maybe not so much. Well, I made these earrings. They will be, where am I with my pieces now? I can't even see them. So let's just move these up to the front, get these out of the way. All right, these pieces will be glow in the dark. I believe, I don't want to move it. My one flower back here is glow in the dark with the same colors. And the other one is that color without glow in the dark in it because Natalie had way too much stuff. So there you have it. We will let all of this set up and we'll have a look at it later. I am debating whether or not I want to put gray or red in with that one. But it'll be a surprise for you now, won't it? Because I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. And when we come back, we will take all of this out and we'll see if Natalie can figure out what color she wants her skull to be. I'll see you when these are ready to take out of the mold. All right, so are we ready to see all the wonderful things we came up with? I have to hide these two pieces. The one especially, because it's very, very cool, if I do say so myself. It almost makes me think that that should be the one that I work with the colors on. But let's get back to the ones that are really important. Now, I did talk about some of these pieces having glow in the dark in them. So that would be these pieces and this bird and I believe this piece. All right. So we're going to just put these other guys off to the side just for right now. We'll get back to that one in a moment. So obviously we're in daylight. You're not going to see the glow in the dark. I haven't checked out. I didn't come down to check on them in the middle of the night. I could have. I was wide awake for part of it, but I did not. I will have to see how well these glow in the dark with the fact that they have the mica powder mixed into them, the color shift. So I'll have to give that a go and I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm trying to put it somewhere so you can actually see it. It's a very pretty color shift. I wasn't so sure looking at it by itself, but it's actually a pretty color. Subtle. It's pretty. And we'll get the birds out. I came up with a cool idea. I have to make, so a while ago I made a set of hands. I'm going to be using them as part of a wedding gift I'm putting together. And when I was looking for some other stuff yesterday, I came across some stones that I had actually bought to use in my piece. And it sort of got to the point where, no, this isn't going to work. Anyway, I thought to myself, well, what if I did the birds with the stones in them? They're small enough and they're in the colors I want them to be. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up making these small little birds. If I don't want to put a hole in it. Oh man, there's a special way you got to work on getting these guys off out of these molds. These guys out of these molds. Oh, there we go. Are we over there? We're over there. All right. There we go. Do I have the little stones? I have the little stones here. I'll show you. And I'll show them to you. I like doing a bit of a show and tell just to give you guys some ideas. So these are the stones that I had bought, and these are colors that the couple like. So I took and put the stones inside, and I think it's going to look kind of cool having them made out of those. So I have to get this piece done. I am seriously running out of time. And yeah, so there's the one little bird. And here's our flower. And what's kind of cool about a glow in the dark, if you did this as a pendant or something like that, is the fact that, you know, you would see this, and then at night it should light up. So I'm going to have to put that to the test because that's kind of cool. Now, the other bird I didn't have enough of this color left when I made this piece, so I ended up adding the red that I had left into it. Let's get this. And I had wondered if, and I don't think it has sunk to the top of the bird, but I had wondered because it was a paste if it would, but I don't think it did. I think it's just sort of stayed in the bottom. Now we've got a little bit of it in. I think you can kind of, I would say it's probably the Glimmer Ghost red that's come through on the top of that one. So if we look at the two of them, I need to put these guys on something for you so you can see better and they're not slipping off of my hands. And this may not help, so let me get one of those because I can turn it upside down. Oops, we're stuck together. That's not good. Huh. All right. I don't know if you remember these pieces. I need to seal them up. Anyway, that's besides the point, right? All right. So, this is the one with the red in the bottom of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's some of the Glimmer Ghost red that's showing up on that guy. Again, not sure how well you can see that. But the top of this one's definitely got more shine to it than this one does. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's get to the actual why we did this whole experiment in the first place. So we've got our glow in the dark, which again, haven't seen glow in the dark, but there's our rose. We'll just pull them all out and then we'll have a look at them. Gonna have to get that one clean on the inside. As well. Now, I also appreciate too in doing this that we're working on a much smaller scale than my actual skull head. So I have to take that into consideration, right? So, as I get stuff all over me because of that. Now, as I say, we can't really tell anything from the glow in the dark because it's not glowing in the dark right now. But can you imagine having a full skull that is that color in the daylight? And I put the blue and the green in it, so it's got both colors in it. I'm not sure how something like that would look in a full skull head. I'm not sure. Now, when I took it out, I could always decorate it up a little bit, like do something with the eyes, like not the skull, the back of the skull, but perhaps the eyes and the nose and the mouth. I could do something with that to sort of give it some depth so it doesn't look so odd during the day. So there is that. We could do something, and I might play with this one a little bit to see if I did with my chrome markers and went over it, or did something just to kind of make it defined more than what it is. So the potential is with that. So we'll put that off to the side. So this is my color shift. I had put, so the color shift had gone in the center, and then I put some yellow on top of that. Now it didn't come out very, interesting. So I would potentially do something to liven that up a little bit. But I'm not sure I could see doing a full skull in this either. Again, I think it's lacking something. And then we have the black and red that I went with. And it's interesting that as much as the black and red was sort of the way I was leaning toward, I'm not sure about that. And I'm not sure why I'm not sure about that. But anyways, there's our black and red. And I think I love the idea of black and red. I mean, they're very cool colors together for sure. And they definitely have that eerie feel of Halloween. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not, it's not grabbing my attention. Now this one more so is, which is interesting. Colors I had chosen that this wouldn't necessarily turn out and be something I would want for a skull, but I think I like the fact that they're not as vibrant as I thought they were going to be. It's got a bit of a grunge feel because of the gray that I used as the backing for it. The green definitely was, I mean, the green was a perfect color because it was so dark anyway. So let me just bring those colors back over for you. So those were the three colors that I had used to create the, along with a little bit of silver that I, like in a tiny bit of silver I put into the resin itself to help with the gray, to give it more of a grunge look. But I'm kind of liking the look of that one. It's not bright, it's not cheery, it's just kind of got that. I think I might do that for my, using those mica powders in my skull. I'm liking how that looks. And I think more so than any of the others. I'll play with the glow in the dark and see if I can't bring it more to life somehow. But I'm definitely liking this one the best. Which kind of surprises me because I wasn't sort of 100% sure I would. I don't know if the flower itself has anything to do with it, like the design of the flower, if that's making a difference. I don't know. But I will say one thing for sure, that when I've used gray in a piece where I've done the mica powders, I've done different pieces and I've shown you some of the videos on those, that the gray really does give an interesting look to the pieces. So if you haven't experimented with that, I'm going to say play with it a little bit if you're looking to use colors, because most people use black and white for the backings of their colors. And I think that's great because I've got the one piece I'm going to show you is just going to blow your mind. But I also think using like this gray just seems to do something. It just seems to make it eerie, and give it a sense of Halloweenish. But yeah, I like it, and I want to stop using the word but. I like this. I think this is my favorite. I really do. Let's get on to the other pieces. So this is just the mica, the Color Shift mica. I would decorate that up a little bit just so that you can see more definition in that. Okay. These are just kind of boring pieces that I used left over. It was so funny when I finished, I went, oh, Natalie, your heart mold. You wanted to make all kinds of hearts, didn't you? Yep. Well, see how that worked out for me. Totally forgot about it. But these are just the, oh, I have a nice big air bubble in that one. There we got those. So I'll do something to make these a little more fun. They're a little boring, but I do think I have some, not mythical, but I have some stickers in my other room that I think might work on these two big ones. The small ones, they're probably not, but I might do something else with them. All right, so This is a piece I made ahead of time. This is the one that had been sitting up in the corner. I used the Let's Resin Chrome on this, and I used a color shift. This is just a generic, I don't even know where I got these anymore, but it's a blue. I put the blue, and then the black is the Alumilite on this one. And this is what I got out. I seriously was not expecting the blue to look like that. I figured it's a color shift. But wow, I mean, that made that pop. Made it pop. But this piece, whew, this is the piece de la resistance. I love this. I love it. So this is the piece that I absolutely love. I mean, I like this because I need to figure out colors. I use the green that's from this piece. I use the color shift and then the Alumilite black to back this. And I went, wow, when I took that out. Like, it's just, to me, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this I would definitely make into make it into a pin to put on a coat or something like that. I just think that's amazing. So this is a really cool idea if you've got a color shift to have that. I mean, that just sparkles. There isn't anything about that I don't like. Anyway, so there we have it. Me playing, and I will have to see what glows in the dark. I will hopefully get down tonight. I will do some more with this, and I'll show you what I do with it. And then when I get my big skull done, I will be sure to show it to you. And as I say, playing with the grays as your filler resin, something to give some thought to, just because I think it does a really neat job with the colors, sort of muting them, but yeah, I don't know how to really explain it, but I do think the gray has a lot of potential in some of these pieces when you're doing something like that. Anyway, let me know what you think. Give me, please, your thoughts on which one of these flowers. I'll sort of take everything else out of your line of sight, sort of, and what you think. Which one is your favorite, and what would you potentially do? Me, I've pretty much made up my mind, and I would like to know what you think. So, enjoy the rest of your day. Be creative as you can be. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I really appreciate everyone who is a subscriber, who's commenting, who's just showing up to watch my videos and spend a little bit of time with me. Have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.